working, they care about the job, they care about the customers, they care about their trainees. And when you have been, when you have the tools to succeed, and you have the books, the DVDs, and the support, you'll have a more successful training than you've ever had before. When you apply these things, it actually makes your job easier as a trainer, not harder. So this isn't about putting more on you, making your job harder. This is about making your job easier as a trainer. It's about making your job so well defined as a trainer, you don't feel lost. You don't feel like you have to kind of make it up as you go. It's about giving you something that says, oh, good, fine, so something to follow and something to help my trainees succeed with. And that's what we want. We want our trainees to succeed. So I'm not using a PowerPoint today because I want you as business owners to be able to go back and teach this from the training manager's workbook. This is the training manager's workbook. And I'm going to teach right from this workbook because I want you to be able to do this. I can't be there in every person's situation. And if you will take this workbook and teach your trainers how to train, you'll have the best training program you've ever had before. And for you training managers, it is about teaching you how to train. We know you know how to clean. You got that. That's why you've been asked to train, because you're so good at what you do. Somebody wants you to teach someone else how amazing you are at what you do. But there's so much more to training, as we talked about yesterday. There's so much more to the cleaning business than cleaning. And there's so much more to training than cleaning. In fact, you're going to find out today that cleaning is a really small percentage of what you do. It's kind of a small percentage. So let's talk about the goals of training. The goal of training. First of all, and please remember this, if your training is dysfunctional or ineffective, or if it's non-existent, your trainees will suffer. And that's really painful, because a lot of times people start a new job and they need that job, and they will suffer if this is not working, if your program is non-existent. And being selected as a trainer is an honor. What's happened is the owner has recognized in you more than just amazing cleaning ability. They've seen a person who's loyal, reliable, has integrity. They wouldn't ask you to train if they didn't believe you have integrity. Loyal is extremely important. If they were worried that you were undermining things behind the scenes, they wouldn't be able to ask you to train. And so it's a big responsibility, and it's an honor to be asked to train, because the company is saying, I trust you and I have confidence in you. Because training is leadership. It's not cleaning. It's leadership. So they're trusting you to be a leader. Now, maybe you need some help with leadership skills. That's fine. We're going to help you. They're going to help you. But they've already seen in you some leadership skills, or they wouldn't have asked you to train. Training management comes with many rewards. If you're a trainer, there's a lot of rewards. Number one, you get to help people who desperately need a job. And there's a lot of people out there that just need a reliable job. They've got bills to pay. There are single moms that need to keep a roof over their kids' heads and food on the table. You're a part of that economy, of providing jobs to people who need them when you're doing the training. The training manager is vital to the trainee's success. We think the company and the owner is vital to the trainee's success, but it's the training manager who's vital to that success. Because if you blow it with that trainee, she could have her cleaning skills handicapped for weeks or months, or maybe lose the job because she just never could get it. And so it's important. Some points to remember. Speed cleaning is a proven, complete system that you can follow, and you can complete training in 1 week. 1 week. Doesn't take 2 and 3 weeks to train. You can follow it to a T and get a trainee up and running in 1 week. And trust me on that, because if it's been taking you longer, when you implement this, you will see you covered everything you needed to cover in 1 week. And then after that, they're just practicing. And they're on probation. They've got to prove themselves over time, but the training is over with after one week. After training, the employee will move into a probation period of time. So as a trainer, you might be asked to go do house checks. You might be asked to just follow up with a phone call. How's it going? Maybe after hours or during the day, how's it going? You know, the owner oftentimes can't ask how's it going because most people aren't going to tell them, right? But you spend a week with them, you can ask, how's it going? Well, I'm getting discouraged. Tell me about it. So training doesn't just stop at 1 week. It's about continuing that relationship and that conversation and asking them when you work together on a job, maybe a big job, and how's it going? Is everything going okay? You having any problems? And they're more likely to tell you than anybody else because they already have worked with you for a week and they feel comfortable around you. So they're in a proving period of time after training. That is now on them to prove themselves to the business. It's on you to help them have the skills and the information. It's on them after training to prove I'm serious, I'm going to come to work, I care about the job, I'm going to be honest. So that's on them. We recommend that training take place on maintenance cleans. So all your recurring jobs is where you should be doing your training. And we talked a lot about that yesterday. And if you've had the experience of whenever you have trainees that a lot of extra work is dumped on you because you have an extra pair of hands, we're not going to do that anymore. We're going to keep your schedule very normal and very predictable so that you can complete training with that trainee and all your focus is on helping that person learn this new skill and learn this new technique. And then you're not distracted and overwhelmed with a lot of unpredictable jobs, like first-time cleans and move-out cleans and big spring cleans and all kinds of special jobs because you have this extra pair of hands. You're not going to be doing that because if you're focused on something new and unpredictable and a big spring cleaning that maybe isn't going to go well because it's a first-time clean and somebody underbid it, if you're focused on that, you're going to take your focus away from your trainee and helping her learn this new skill, and you're going to shift into that mindset of, we just got to get out of here, right? That's not going to happen. You're going to work a very normal, recurring schedule, and your trainees will accompany you in an environment that you're already familiar with. You've already been doing these houses, so you know each house like the back of your hand, and you know how long you can get in and out of that house, right? Versus, I've never been to this house before, it's huge, it's dirty. Does that make sense? Now that doesn't mean there aren't situations where, as a trainer, the week you're in training with a new trainee, that you won't have to fill in on a different house. Somebody calls in sick, you got a last minute opening. Well, we need that trainee to have houses to train in. So of course, you're gonna have a substitute house, but it's going to be a regular clean. It's gonna be a routine clean. It's not gonna be extra work dumped on you. New cleans, big, dirty, hard, unpredictable cleanings. One thing to remember as a trainer, never use the trainee as a helper. That person is not there to help you. And sometimes this is how training just ends up. It ends up that the trainee is a helper. If she's just helping you, she is not learning. If you put her in a bathroom and say, I'll check and see how you did in 20 minutes, that's not training. That's a helper. Trainees are not there to help you. They're there to learn. You got 1 week. 1 week. Work with them. Teach. We're going to go very specifically what that all looks like in just a little bit. Training should be done the same way every time, and preferably in the same group of houses that you've been doing for a while. Now obviously week 1 you got one group of houses, week 2 you have another group of houses because most clients are bi-weekly. But For you to be able to do training the same way every single time and to develop your routine as a trainer, you have to plan to do everything the same way every single time. Don't mix it up. Don't change it up. If you always start with your trainees in the upstairs because the family is always home in the morning when you get there, then do that every time and develop your own routine as a trainer. And if you guys always meet at the office and go over all the chemicals and some rules and regulations first, do that every time and then head to the first house. But develop a routine as a trainer and don't change things so that you can get into your own groove. Give every trainee your best. This is critical. For you, it's another trainee, right? For them, it's my first cleaning job. I don't know what I'm doing. So give them your best and don't think, I trained this one last week and she didn't work out, right? Just give every single trainee your best because they deserve that. Until they prove otherwise that they don't deserve it, they deserve that. Let's talk about perfect maintenance cleaning. This is a term that Jeff Campbell and I came up with a few years ago. And you've been hearing speed cleaning. Speed cleaning was developed by a man named Jeff Campbell over 25 years ago. He owned a maid service in San Francisco, California, and he wrote a book on how to systematically clean a house. And I bought that book over 25 years ago. And I trained all of my employees using that book. And he literally wrote a book on how to clean every room a very specific way. And he teaches you to clean from top to bottom, left to right, and one trip around the room, and how to use feather dusters correctly. And no, feather dusters are not a dirty word. Not a dirty word, but he teaches you how to use feather dusters correctly and what to clean in a maintenance clean and how to keep things clean. And I read that book over 25 years, and it completely transformed my thinking about how to approach cleaning. It sped me up as a cleaner. I mean, I cleaned for 8 years, and I thought I was fast and good. And I didn't realize I wasn't as fast or as good as I could be until I read his book and began to apply the principles. And when I first read the book, and in the first part of his book, he explains, don't change anything. Follow everything I tell you to a T. Don't change a thing. Follow the rules, follow the rules. And I'm like, okay, yes, sir, I will follow your rules. And I think it even says, do it for 30 days. Don't do anything differently for 30 days. And I thought, well, okay, I'll give it a try. What do I have to lose? The first week, it was so awkward that it took me longer to clean all my houses. And I thought, this is not going to work. This is so awkward. I got these bottles on my apron, and it's just working my way around the room in a way I never did before. And I was thinking, this is not for me. But he said, give it 30 days. So I thought, okay, let me try again next week. So next week, put on the apron, followed his system to a T, and I shaved 30 minutes off of every house, because it wasn't as awkward as it was the first week. And it was beginning to be a little bit more familiar. And then the next week, I shaved an hour off of every house. And I was convinced that I was as fast as I could be, because I'm all about time is money, okay? And I understood you get in, get out, and you've averaged more per hour. And so I thought I was incredibly efficient. I really thought I was, and I think I was by most people's standards, until I applied the principles of speed cleaning. And then I realized, oh my goodness, I've been leaving time on the table. And it changed everything for me. And then I began to use his book to train new people. And that's when I began to have successful trainees instead of just miserable failures in terms of people I would try to train to clean and take over the jobs. And they would either be very slow, but they were good, or they would be really fast and terrible at cleaning. And I was just so unsuccessful at trying to teach people how to do what I do. And I thought it was easy. I was just completely unsuccessful. And then I used the principles of his book to teach those trainees, and then it began to click. Not everybody works out. but at least everybody had a chance at working out. Everybody had a chance